Hi guys, welcome to the channel. We seem to be hearing more and more about this super El Nino. Now they're actually calling this Godzilla El Nino, climate catastrophe, and apparently it's going to be the worst one in 150 years. I noticed some of you who hear the word super El Nino and you just assume this is just a weather pattern and it happens once every so often. Absolutely, but today we need to be talking about something very, very important. We need to talk how that is going to be affecting you and your family preparedness, because something tells me that what we're doing right now and how we're preparing is not quite going to be good enough. So Super El Nino in a nutshell is basically the woman of the Pacific. With itself it brings the extreme global weather patterns. Pretty much something we've already seen in the past couple of years, but far more extreme. We're talking about the flooding, we're talking about the heat waves, so the droughts to go with it, cold snaps, storms, all of that together. And the worst part, it's actually very, very unpredictable. So in today's video, guys, I wanted to share with you 5 things I think we all should be doing right now to prepare for what's coming. So the very first thing we should be doing is to rethink your food storage. Not in fact what you're storing, but where you're storing it. I know a lot of people generally store their preps in the sheds or the garages, and it's fine if the temperature is fairly stable, but if we're starting to see the massive temperature fluctuations, it's not going to be good for your food, especially tins. Trust me, I know this from the experience. So the point is trying to find the coolest room or the coolest place in your house and try to store majority of your food there. I'm always an advocate to say to you guys, never store your preps in the same place, trying to diversify and kind of put them in a couple of different places, but make sure those places are cool. Another thing to consider as well from the experience, when the weather starts changing out there, don't forget that the nature is going to be changing with that, and so is the behavior of other things that live there. A few years back I had the problem with the ants. They find their way to my kitchen and into the cupboard. It doesn't have to be ants, it could be weevils and anything else. If the weather changes, things get extreme, you'll find yourself, you might have more of infestations of certain things. So it's also important to think, even if you keep certain things, your daily things, in your kitchen cupboard or in the pantry, make sure you protect them as well. Because once those critters get in there, they have a difficult to get them out. So following on to this, we're talking about the freezer dependency. See, freezers are great, but they only is great as the amount of power you have to keep them running if the power goes out, say in the winter or maybe in the summer. So if you have the alternate methods of running up your freezers, then it's absolutely fine. You might not have a lot to worry about, but a lot of us don't. So we have to consider of other ways of diversifying our freezer. Either potentially learn how to can the certain foods in the freezer, or maybe even consider dehydrating certain things. But basically find a way or more shelf-stable ways of the foods that you store in your freezer. And one of the other tips I'm going to give you, something that I'm going to be doing myself, is I have multiple freezers. And if I only been given one choice of which freezer to save in a power outage, I would not know which one to choose, because guess what? I have no idea what's inside my freezers, give or take, of course. So the point is, I'm going to create one freezer that is going to be my main power, whatever freezer I'm going to call it, but I'm going to know exactly what's in there. It's going to be prioritized on my priorities, what my family will eat. But if you're in the same position, I suggest you make it into one freezer, you put your priorities of your food in there, and if, God forbid, the power outage happens for a long time, if you have means of powering the freezer, at least you don't have to be second guessing which one you should be choosing. So next one is super underestimated, is improve your water resilience. In the summer, we're talking about the droughts. In the winter, we're talking about the frozen pipes. Last year, we had 3 or 4 weeks of drought. Our supermarkets ran out of bottled water within a day, okay? My IBC tank ran dry in 2 weeks just by watering a little bit of my tomatoes and the cucumbers. The water preps are really underestimated, especially now talking about having a really hot summer. Just imagine if there's no rain for say 6-8 weeks or longer and it's really hot. We need water for plants, for if you're growing, of course, we need water for ourselves, and obviously we need water for hygiene. But we're still assuming the water will be running from the tap, hopefully. But just think about that. You have to store more water, buy yourself more containers, water baths, all sorts of things that you build yourself that water resilience, because none of us know how long or how bad it's going to be. But if you prepare for what's coming, assuming that we've been told it's going to be really hot, stock more water baths or water containers, and of course don't forget the purification methods. The next one is going to be preparing for the extreme hot and cold. It's preppers, of course, guys. We always prepare for hot summer, we prepare for cold winter, but we're talking about the extremes. We talk about the extremes with potentially horrendous hurricanes, winds, maybe a huge amount of rain. We don't know because it's unpredictable, but the extreme, think about it as an extreme. So for the hot weather, for example, for the house, think about the ventilation, like fans or air conditioning. Think about maybe a blackout blind to keep the sun out of your house. See, for the winter time, think about, of course, the maybe thermal curtains to put so you keep the heat inside the house. And of course as well, think about the alternate cooking, of course, and the most important is the alternative heating methods. We already know that the prices of oil has been through the roof, and the way things are going right now, I think is probably only going to get more expensive towards the winter. So if you're on a gas central heating, or if you're oil central heating like us, consider alternative methods. Buy yourself little electric heater, or buy yourself little electric towel rails things that run at like 100 watts. It costs you pennies to run, but think about electric blankets. Just think outside the box and think, what if weather's going to be far worse than what it was, say, last year? What would you need to keep you and your family comfortable? So another thing people probably won't be thinking about is try to adapt your garden now. Try to think about what's going to be happening. See, if we're going to be having the extreme heat in the garden, you have to be thinking about the crops you're growing, okay? You have to be thinking about the shading, about the mulching. So consider buying some netting or shading for your greenhouse or for your plants. Also think about the fact that during a really, really hot weather, a lot of crops will bolt, okay? So they'll go to seed because they're stressed. So you need to make sure they keep on the top of the water, and at the same time, make sure you have successional sowings and make sure you've got the extra seeds as well. And also plan for the winter. For example, I've got to be making some changes to what are potentially going to be now growing in the winter. Because if we're going to have a severe storms and gales, it is pointless trying to grow Brussels sprouts that grow really, really tall because they're going to get ruined. On the upside, if we're predicted to have really, really hot summer, then I'm going to be planting an extra batch of tomatoes to hopefully get me through even further in the season. So whatever you do, whatever you grow, think about the extremes and then plan for it. And the best advice of all, guys, is to reduce your dependency. Be adaptable and be flexible. Learn new skills, do things, practice things, grow something, learn how to can, learn how to dehydrate. Basically, just try to be more resilient as a family or as a person. So please, guys, comment down below if you have started making any changes based on the predictions of really cold winter and a really hot summer. Maybe any tips you can share with the viewers as well. Otherwise, guys, well, thank you so much for watching. I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.